Episode 7 of When the Stars Gossip begins with Eve Kim interviewed on the news about her space voyage. We don't actually see too much of her thoughts though, as we cut to Ryong's moms instead, who discuss the logistics of making love in space. Given zero gravity and the way our bodies are positioned, I'm trying to make this as non-crude as possible. It's very, very unlikely. Anyway, out at space, Ryong and the gang celebrate their mission success. The trio discuss their lottery winnings though and try to work out whether they should give Kang-soo his money or not. Eventually they decide they should do the honorable thing and that night, while he's sleeping, place the ticket in his sleep space. Meanwhile, Eve and Ryong try to egg on the mice to make love. The female keeps dodging and walking away from the male, echoing Eve's actions toward Ryong. Eve theorizes that it could be hormone-related and gets to work trying to help the mice mate. Down on Earth, Min-jong is rushed to hospital after receiving a call from Ryong. The chairman and all the cronies are there to check on her, but it's touch and go right now. In fact, the same can be said for those up in space too. There's been a collision of space debris and they need to move the station. Eve is on the case and uses the thrusters to move them out the trajectory for the debris in case it circles around and hits them. Eve gets up in the middle of the night to do this, but given she can't sleep after, she decides to read a book until she does. Thankfully, it's not the book with the hollowed-out container for the bottle, While this is going on, Dong-ae is concerned. He's been seeing Eve get closer to Ryong and obviously doesn't know that Eve is aware of his affair. He continues to see Tae-hui, even kissing her in Eve's apartment too, until Dong-ae pulls back and decides to end what they're doing. He's confused over what he wants and doesn't think this is the right thing to do. Eve is asleep and when Ryong wakes up, and he notices Eve's feet again and realizes she needs to change her dressings. So he does all of this while she's asleep. After, he apologized for causing her trouble, something that stems back to Eve badmouthing him at the Seoul MCC during his first day at the station. He was outside the office at the time and overheard her. Since then, he's been trying to do whatever he can to make himself useful. From the hospital, Ryong rings with good news. He tells the gang that he's been successful in fertilizing the egg and promises that Min-jong will hear the word mom. This seems to do the trick and she awakens. On board the station, Kang-soo is not happy that the incubator is locked with a different password. He struggles to get in, unaware that the gang have dropped off the winning lottery ticket inside his room. Instead, he immediately confronts Ryong about the incubator and the egg. However, there's further drama when the space debris gets dangerously close to the space station. They have a code yellow and with a debris cloud inbound, they need to get into the Scorpion and leave. They need to take the essential supplies with them and potentially head back to Earth. These essentials include the fruit flies, the mice and anything else they may need for the long haul. With time counting down, KSNG-soo is guarded and doesn't reveal what he's taking. The others are convinced that his valuables include the lottery ticket. As for Ryong, he's desperate to get the incubator out, which obviously includes the fertilized egg. However, time is of the essence and he wastes precious time taking out the incubator by hand. The debris hits earlier than expected, with a code red for the team. The lottery ticket is lost in the vents, while Ryong is pummeled while trying to get out with the incubator. Unfortunately, he winds up trapped inside the observation module. The others are already in the Scorpion and they realize, with horror, that their space tourist is all alone. Eve wants to try and spacewalk over and save him, but MCC are not in agreement here and she's caught between what the best solution is to do. Unfortunately, a decision is made for her as the doors are locked and the Scorpion departs, leaving Ryong all alone on the space station. That took a crazy twist, didn't it? The ending is definitely shocking, and in an attempt to save the incubator and the egg, Ryong is left behind while the others leave the space station. It's clear from the preview for tomorrow's episode that he's going to have to try and survive up here alone, and perhaps then we'll see a much more resourceful Ryong come to the fold. Either way, how is he going to get back home? With all this considered though, the drama doesn't have a whole lot to help it stand out next to so many other K-dramas in its field. There's not very effective comedy, there's non-existent romance, and the thriller elements feel contrived and simply included to artificially drive up the stakes when things start to mellow out. That's before mentioning the drama on Earth, with the MZ group feeling very one-note and lacking depth, while Ryong's moms have nothing to offer in this drama either. It's a shame because the cast are clearly doing their best, but the scripts just aren't particularly strong.